everyone? Welcome. We are here with the lovely and amazing Ash Said Hi. Ash, how you doing tonight?
I am very well. How are you?
I'm doing really good. First of all, can you guys hear her? I just want to make sure.
Hello, hello. It's so great to see you all in chat. Hi. Hi, Jen. Hi, Wizard of Wizard. Hi, Ron. Hello. Hi,
Ash is
Felicia.
low.
I'm
Okay,
low.
let me see if I can do something with that.
Shane. Hi, Shane. Hello.
How about now?
Hello.
Thank you
Oh
for
my
the
gosh.
follow.
Oh man. Hi, Vanna. Oh my God. Hello. Hi, Vanna. Oh man.
Dancer, how about now? She's still quiet now, or should I raise it up again?
Better, but can
But
be
could it be
louder
louder?
still.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks
All
for
right, let me
helping us work out these bugs, you know. You know how it goes.
Yeah. All right, how about now, y'all?
Exciting.
Exciting. Mina, what's up? Thank you for the follow, y'all. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hello, tech
Hashtag
happens.
happens. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does. It'd be like that sometimes. It's perfect now? All right, bet.
Awesome.
But yeah, Ash, thank you. Thank you so much for coming through tonight. I know you're a very busy woman, very busy schedule, so I appreciate you taking the time out to chat with my channel and me.
Oh yeah, it's my absolute pleasure.
Awesome. So,
Hi, Sky.
hey, wow! Look at that. The love is in the chat tonight. Well, my first question to you is, where was the moment where you were sitting at home and you were like, you know what? I'm gonna try out this Twitch thing. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen.
That's a great question. So, I was working in an industry previously that had absolutely no work-life balance, and I didn't have the opportunity to get into Twitch. I actually, if you look at like my account, I created my account, I think in something like 2016 or some craziness like that, and I had no idea what Twitch was. And I was like, I don't know how to use this platform. I don't know anything about it. I don't understand it, whatever. So I just kind of like forgot about it. And then I left that industry that I was in previously, and I had found a new career path that allowed me a better work-life balance. And I myself, hey, why don't I start working on some of those things that I've always wanted to work on, like YouTube or Twitch and stuff like that. So then I was like, you know what? Let's start broadcasting. And I think the first thing I did was like I hooked up my Switch and I bought like an Elgato, and I think I was testing it out with like Tetris 99 and Breath of the Wild. So that's kind of like where the journey first started, and it was like March of 2019, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this March will make 2 years.
Wow, just 2 years, and look at how far you've come already. Did you ever foresee this becoming such a massive thing for you, or were you just doing it like, hey, I'm just chilling and whatever happens happens?
Well, at first, I just thought, you know what, let me just see where the course takes me. Because, like, I didn't know what kind of life choices I would be making, in the future and stuff. But I do know myself, and I know how much I love games, and I know how much I love connecting with people who love playing games also, and just talking about games. So I was like, you know what? If there is a path to success and there's a path for evolution, I will take it. And I always try to put my whole heart into anything I do. So naturally, there'll be a natural progression if you're working hard and putting your best effort forward. I didn't think that I would become a partner. I didn't think that any of this stuff would be happening, or that, I'd be on the front page or anything like that. But, those surprises are definitely things that I do not take for granted. And I'm so grateful for every day and for every person that I've met on this platform. It's been really awesome.
That is really fantastic. And it's always amazing to come into something and just really have a passion for it, and out of nowhere it just takes you to a different plateau. That's an amazing thing. So you're known as the queen of retro, right? So how does one, because I remember like you played a lot of Breath of the Wild. So how did you go from Breath of the Wild and just jump into like the retro scene? Like, how did that come about?
Well, see, that's a great question. I didn't know what my niche would be on Twitch. I didn't know if I wanted to have a niche. I just knew that I wanted to play games. And I knew that I always had a great big backlog of games. That was like probably one of the main motivators, right? So, you have like tons of games. You're like, oh man, I really should play this or I should really play that. And eventually I started to get into playing games that I always wanted to play, like Mega Man and, certain Zeldas that I never beat and things like that. And of course, now I still do dabble in, some newer Switch titles and things like that. But retro has really been where I could build my community just through meeting people, sharing that joy, that love of games, connecting through our nostalgia and our memories for things that, oh yeah, I played that game and I love this and I love that soundtrack. And it just starts those natural conversations that, like make people feel happy. And when I saw that I was really connecting with people through retro, and also like the community of retro is just really tight knit, and like I've made so many friends, especially like in the Amiga community, and like people who like speed run and all kinds of stuff. Like it all runs the gamut. And so meeting all of these people has brought me joy. And that's why I think that I use the platform so much. Like I'm just like on Twitch all day, all the time. So it's like I've met some really great people, and like I spend a lot of time talking to people all the time and learning about new games and things that I never got to play before, like real-time strategy games or like point and clicks and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's kind of why I've gravitated towards this category. It's just the people and the games and just having great conversations about things that we love.
That's so amazing to me. Like, I've seen other bits and pieces of the retro community, and like even outside of Twitch, I've seen how massive it is because there's like a store here in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Video Games, and
Hmm.
like a lot of people go there and they just buy old consoles, they try to refurbish them, and there's like this
Hmm.
whole other aspect of people just like painting old consoles and doing all of that, and it's like, wow, like who would have thought? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. There are definitely some broadcasters that I watch that mod consoles, or they, like repro them, or, like they, help people troubleshoot and stuff like that. And first of all, I need to go to that shop that you're talking about because I don't think I ever went there. But, like that's something that I really love, is like if I find a new retro shop, like like it's like digging through gold. Like what are you gonna find, what rare game are you gonna see, like what game are you gonna see that you haven't seen in like a million years? Like that's always like the fun of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool, especially like Video Games New York and stuff. It's just like fun to go in there and just be like, oh yes, I remember this game, or oh my god, I remember this game, yo, that level was so whack, like things like that.
Yeah, speaking of that, and speaking of like games from our past, are there games that you played as a kid that you couldn't beat or that you just had a hard time with that now as an adult you've been able to just like mop the floor with?
Yes, Mega Man. I never thought in my life I would beat a Mega Man game, and I beat one and two, and I could not be more proud of myself. Hi,
Wow.
Sky. Hi, Sky.
That's way better than me because I cannot beat those games. Are rough.
They are, but what's funny is like once you start to get into it, it it's funny because like certain games like that, like it trains you how to think. Like,
Hmm.
okay, I know how this like gravity is gonna work when I'm in this kind of level, or I know like, okay, for example, like when you played like the level in Mega Man 2 where you got to go against a dragon, like there's some blocks that are really slippery, so in order to stop you got to like jump. Or like when you watch speedrunners and they know how to essentially, they know the game so well, they can essentially like play the game and they can break the rules. Like
Hmm.
you learn so much. Like I watched someone that speedruns Link to the Past, and just watching them, I've learned like, oh, I didn't know you could like do this like little glitch thing. Even though you're not like breaking the game, you learn like how you can like kind of bend the game and
Yeah,
play it better, which is like really fun.
that's dope. So in terms of speed running, is that something that you would ever want to do?
I have thought about it. If there was ever a game that I would speed run, it would probably be either Batman on NES or UN Squadron.
Well, what's
One of
UN
those.
Scrounge? I don't think I've heard of that one.
UN Squad. So in my Super Nintendo, there is a shoot 'em up game, also lovingly known as shmups. It's a shmup from it was originally released on the arcade called Area 88. There's also like some really good anime based on this story.
Mm.
But it's a shooter, and you can choose one of three pilots, and each one kind of has like a different specialty, and then you can choose like different airplanes and different weapons, and it's like really fun. The music is really good. It's fast paced. The thing I love about it though is that there isn't any RNG in the game. So if you
Mm.
want to memorize it, it's like you can memorize it because the enemies are always going to come from the same angle and the same direction. And I don't know, it's just, I guess, one of those games that I grew up with, so I have nostalgia for it. So I'm just like, I really love it.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I might have to check that out if I can get my hands on like an old console.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure you wouldn't have a problem getting your hands on like a Super Nintendo or something.
True, it is pretty in vogue right now. So
Mhm.
this backdrop you have, everyone's in love with it. I'm seeing the chat going crazy. Like, how long did it take you to get all this memorabilia?
This is a lifetime of collecting. I mean, literally a lifetime of collecting. Like, my Sega Master System is my childhood Sega Master System, and I have my father's Amiga 500 next to me, and I have, my SNES and NES, like, and all those game carts are, from my childhood, and all the plush is, just from my time of basically living in the Nintendo store, and, all, like, just like years of collecting, going to Comic Cons, going to events, and all kinds of stuff. You just accumulate a lot of things. But the good thing is that they're all themed and they work with my theme. So, it looks
Yeah,
great.
it's perfect. Like, I really want that Metroid. I know you got a Metroid somewhere in that
Oh, yes,
pile
yes,
over
I
there.
have a Metroid over there. Yes, I do.
Speaking of conventions and events, what are some of your most memorable times out in the world pre-COVID?
Oh man. Oh man, that's such a great question. Definitely E3 when I visited E3.
Nice.
Just because it was one of the events that I went to that it was just so much fun. I didn't want to leave, and I met so many great people. It was just absolutely incredible. And to see, like, your favorite elements from games brought to life, because it's kind of like a cool theme park in a way, because you're seeing like big statues of characters, and you're getting like all these cool little giveaways and swag and stuff, and then you're meeting other people who love games just as much as you. So that's really fun. And going to like Comic-Con too, because you get to like I said, meet people and play demos and like experience things firsthand. It's just those things I really do miss. I do really miss them a lot.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. And like, I've only been to a few conventions myself, but like around in like Harlem and in Brooklyn. I don't know if you ever heard of the Schomburg in
Mm-mm.
Harlem. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's a black-owned museum, and one of the event planners there, or the event coordinators, every year they do a annual Black Comic Book Festival, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, because really, if you when you don't really think about it, but like there's so many black people, black and brown and everything in between, making art, making comics, making games. They even had a game developer conference in there too. It was
Mm-hmm.
game developers of color, and like it was just such a wonderful thing to be enveloped in. And it's like, oh, this is my people. This is people that look like me. You know what I mean? Like making the stuff that I like.
Yep. That's so important to have in an industry, right? Representation. And like you said, seeing somebody create something and feeling like you are a part of what they're creating, like seeing yourself within the game or movie or book or comic book or anything like that. And I think a lot of times, people like us who might have grown up without that kind of influence, we really missed out on like being able to think like, hey, I can be a part of this space, because if you don't see that kind of stuff enough, then you don't realize that you can be a part of it, which is why I think inclusion is such an important topic.
Hmm.
So making sure that those things exist, and meeting other content creators, and realizing that there are people out there who are creating this content. Maybe they're not as visible, because they don't have the means. But like, I hope that one day, like things like that can be really invested in, so that it can have that same visibility as maybe major movie and major movie publishing houses and things like that can have the same kind of exposure. So that's
Yeah.
really important. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly important, especially for young children. Like I got hype, not just for myself, but for like kids that play Animal Crossing when they added in those new hairstyles. I was like, okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
After
Yeah,
all
that is
these
really
years,
cool.
like we finally
Mm-hmm.
got some like extra, a little bit of something. Was a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot, but it was a little bit of something. I really do appreciate when developers do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to game development and creation, have you had any interest in that department? Do you feel like you would make a game at some point?
Um, I think that I don't, not that I wouldn't be interested. I would always be interested to learn a new skill, but I think that my focus is it would be too diluted. I wouldn't be able
Mm,
to dedicate and put my whole entire heart into like building a game. Now, if I could help with the graphic design, the packaging, the marketing, the advertising, that is something that I have skills in,
mhm.
especially from school and from, work history. That's something that I could really do. Like if somebody said, "Hey, I have this game and I want to learn how to market it, or I want people to be exposed to it on Twitch. Would you broadcast it? Would you help get some eyes on it?" Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
That's great that you did mention graphic design because you and I go a little ways back. So we have a little bit of history in terms of the art world.
Yeah.
And recently you shared a really amazing painting of Birdo from Mario.
Oh yes.
Um, so outside of gaming, how often do you get to flex your art muscle?
Well, I think especially now with everything that happened with COVID and being furloughed from my previous job, like I was able to really focus on myself and able to focus on lots of projects that I've always wanted to work on. So, and I think now I'm able to create more art, which is awesome. When I was working before and I had less of a work-life balance, I was not able to focus on those things that I love so much. But now I am, and I don't take that for granted. Like for real, like I'm able to now work on a lot of my content, work on a lot of graphic design for myself, work on painting, work on drawing, like, and really getting back to the things that I really love, which has been really nice.
That's dope. And you know what? Not for nothing. Like you haven't lost a step. When you showed me that Birdo, I was like, yo,
And
like that is like really damn
the
good.
funny thing is that I was struggling too. Like, what was struggling for me was like the shading, because every time I
Mm,
look at something, like I'm just like, okay, how do I make it smooth? How do I do this? How do I do that? Like, as artists, I know you can probably relate to this as well. We're always going to be our worst critics,
oh
right?
yeah,
We're
yeah.
always going to be like, this could be better, or I didn't see this, or whatever. But I think that there's a point in time, and I think I've learned this over time, is to just be like, okay, I'm gonna walk away from this, I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna look at it with fresh eyes, and I'm gonna realize maybe I don't need to be so like perfect, because
Hmm.
that really doesn't exist.
Hmm.
So just, like understanding, as long as I put my best effort in and I put as much time as I could into it, I'm gonna be satisfied with that.
That's what matters. Yeah. And speaking of walking away from something, and this is something that I really love to ask people a lot of the times, especially when they're an entrepreneur or an artist.
Yeah.
How do you deal with one burnout, and how do
Mhm.
you also deal with work-life balance, especially when you're in an industry where it's very front-facing, you're expending a lot of energy all the time, and you're always constantly trying to think of new things to do to expand what you already have.
Burnout is something that's really important to look out for. I think once you're starting to feel like this doesn't feel like something that's bringing me joy, this doesn't feel like something that I fully believe in anymore, it's time to pause. And it's time to really look at your priorities, and time to really understand, okay, what am I doing? Why am I feeling this? What am I like, what are my habits? that are contributing to this feeling of burnout or excess or whatever, and really understanding that your body has limits and you've got to listen to your body, you've got to listen to yourself. And also, why are you doing this? Like if I am broadcasting and I'm playing a game and I hate myself for playing this game, other than the fact that like maybe like I'm being trolled or something is like causing that kind of feeling. Like if you feel like, you've got to start to reevaluate. And I think when it comes to work-life balance, for me, the most important thing is to have a list and to have a list of goals and what am I doing to achieve those goals and how am I breaking it down into something that I can do every day that will lead me somewhere, that will lead me to feeling like, okay, I've accomplished this today and this is leading to my larger goal. So what I do all the time, I always have a list right next to me. I have a notepad right next to me and I scratch things off as I go along. And when I like feel like, okay, I've really accomplished something, then I know like I can see it and I know I can move on. And that helps. And, just having a routine, and doing things, outside of this, like remembering to exercise, remembering to go outside, take a walk, just like take a break. Because 9 times out of 10, when you take a break and then you come back, you're gonna get back into it and you're gonna have that fresh eyes and that fresh mindset and you're gonna be able to refocus. So it's really important to understand those things and know your boundaries.
For real, like big facts. And I feel like looking at you and some other people I've come to watch on the regular on Twitch, it's very important to really just take those moments for yourself. Because I feel like a lot of the times people start streaming and they're just like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this for 12 hours. I'm not gonna drink water, I'm not gonna sleep, I'm gonna sit here and not stretch. And it's like, bro, you're gonna collapse. Like it's time to like just step back a little bit and maybe just write out an actual schedule. Figure out like maybe times to take breaks. Like even for me, like sometimes I'll get up out this chair and be like, yo, I'll be right back in like 5-10 minutes. Because
Yeah.
you can't be sitting here just like hunched over. You're gonna mess your back up. I don't want to be like 75 years old, be like, oh no.
You know what? I gotta be honest with you. I am also guilty of playing a game and forgetting to take a break. Cause like
Ash.
you'll be playing a game like Mega Man, and then you'll be like, oh man, the hype. I'm hype. I got past this boss or whatever, and you'll be like, I'm in the zone, and then you forget. But then I'll start to feel it. I'll start to feel like my eyes, like, man, I haven't blinked in an hour. Like,
Yo.
that's not good.
Word, man.
You get hyped, but then, sometimes you'll have like those wonderful members in chat who will remind you, like, Ash, did you take a break? Ash, did you drink some water? Like, what are you doing? And, that's why I love my chat,
Yeah.
Exactly, Shane. Just because you can stream for 24 hours doesn't mean you shouldn't. It doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. And more power to the people that do it and they like take care of themselves, but that's not for me. I don't think I could do it.
Yes.
So
yes.
I gotta
it out. Y'all plan it out.
Yeah, that's very important. So I gotta ask, what's up with the Game Boy and the forehead thing?
Oh man, what a great question. So one day, Sky Coasterman, who was in the chat earlier, we were talking and I was showing him like my game collection. We were just like talking on Discord one day. And I was showing him my game collection. I had it in a little box, right? I had it in a little box. So I'm like, oh yeah, I have this game, whatever. And I was just sitting there fiddling with my games. And then all of a sudden, I just stuck it to my head because I knew I could. I just did it because I knew I could. And he looked at me and was like, oh my God, that's the funniest thing I ever saw. You need to make that a channel point redemption. And I was like, that's gold. That's the golden idea right there.
Wow.
And then it was born. Then I just made the channel point redemption. And ever since then, it's become a hit.
What an origin story. I'm not gonna lie, deadass, I tried it and I was like, oh yeah, this does work.
It does work.
Because at first I thought you was doing some kind of trick, like you had like some kind of skin glue or something. I was like, what is this woman doing?
And you know what? I love seeing other people do it. Like, if anybody wants to do it and then tag me in a photo on Twitter or Instagram or in Discord somewhere, yo, I love that. I think that's so funny.
What would you call it if it was like a hashtag?
that's a great idea. Oh man, I gotta think about that. I gotta think about that.
Okay, so The Weekend.
Yes.
I know that you're a fan. Literally, I remember when we first met. The first thing I did, I not watched, but I listened to the recommendation you gave me. You're like, "Oh, listen to this, and like I spent like a whole day listening. I was like, you know what? He ain't that bad. But then I fell off for a few years, and I saw the recent stuff, and I'm just like, oh wow, he's evolved.
Hmm.
Um, Two questions:
Okay.
how do you feel about his newer style of music?
Hmm.
And two, what did you think about the Super Bowl performance?
Okay. So his latest album, I'm not going to lie, I was not in love with.
Mm,
Not in love with it. It took me a very long time to listen to it.
wow.
However, there are some tracks on there that I really love, especially the ones that have like the 80s vibe,
Hmm.
like I do love those. It's not that I don't, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, he doesn't sound like, he doesn't sound like Trilogy, he doesn't sound like this, he doesn't like that." I don't care about, because obviously as a person grows and, evolves as an artist, they're going to change. It's just, I guess I'm personally just tired of the, like, oh, Abel has to sound like his old sound, or he has to talk about this woman that hurt him, or he has to talk about this, you know, difficulty with drugs or whatever. It's like, oh my God, I'm just like, please, Abel. I understand it's cool, but I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
But his performance at the Super Bowl, I was like, yo, I really loved it, because especially that transition from Glass Table Girls to I forgot the name of the new song. Like, I was like, yo, I can't believe he just transitioned from Glass Table Girls. Like, that was just like amazing. But I think it really speaks, volumes about his work ethic and, his focus on, constantly wanting to evolve and constantly wanting to experiment and constantly just, having a good brand. He's got a good team behind him too, like all of the people that work on, the EXO brand, they really know what they're doing. And the thing that I really love about the EXO brand and him is that they also give back,
You were
with their
brilliant.
House of EXO, and they,
And you were
mentor
brilliant.
people in
And you were
Toronto and Canada and stuff like that. And they have a project for like, mentoring people, kids in school and college and stuff like that. So I think that that's really, really awesome.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, I just love that one moment. It was like maybe a couple of months ago where he had like this crazy prosthetic on his face. Like it looked like he
Yeah.
had some insane plastic surgery. I'm like, yo, this
That's
dude.
definitely a statement. Definitely a
Yeah,
statement.
yeah.
Hmm.
I have one last question, then we'll open it up to chat. Um, Now that you are a partner on Twitch and you have a really good following and you have this wonderful base of people, where do you see yourself going next? What are you going to do next? What do you see yourself on Twitch for the next 5 years, or what's going on with AshSaidHi brand? What's going on?
There's definitely going to be some exciting things happening soon that I can't talk about yet.
Ooh.
But yes, I definitely see myself sticking with Twitch for as long as I can. I mean, as long as the platform is up and like people are using it and things like that. But yes, put Ash on G4. You
I'm down for
challenge.
that.
I definitely love my community, and I love sharing the joy of retro, and I love meeting people on this platform, and I will take it as far as I can go, like if I can work with other brands, if I can eventually turn this into like maybe a host type of thing, or like be like a spokesperson, or whatever the natural progression is, that's what I would love to do. I mean, I know you all have also seen me in the Spectrum commercial, and that is really thanks to Twitch, because I met, someone and became very good friends with that person
Nice.
who asked me, "Hey Ash, do you want to be in a commercial?" You never know who you can meet,
That's true.
and I keep all doors open, all doors, windows, shades, everything open, all of it.
Warp pipes
So
too?
Huh?
Warp pipes too?
Warp pipes, yes. All of that, for sure.
That's dope. I honestly like, just as your friend and also an admirer of your work ethic, like I honestly wish you the best in what you're doing, and you're just amazing. And like Issa Rae said, I'm rooting for everybody black. You know.
Thank you so much.
Uh,
I mean, also, yeah, being on the Black History Month program, being in
that's
the
right. Yes.
team, and being in the front page, and being, you know, in the Celebrate Black Brilliance campaign has been such an honor. And I've met so many great people. And, you know, when things like that come up, and always, being able to connect with so many people through Twitch, like, you never know where anything is going to lead you. And opportunities like that have been such a great, they've been really fun to be a part of. And I'm really, really, really grateful for that. So it's been awesome. It's been awesome. I can't wait to see what else like Twitch is
Yeah.
going to be doing that I can be a part of.
I do appreciate the shift that Twitch is making for black creators and people of color. Like it's been, I haven't been on the platform long in terms of just viewership too, but like just from the last few months I've seen, I'm like, yo, they're really trying hard, and I really respect companies that do that. Even if like it takes a long time, the fact that you're taking a step means a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to open up the floor to chat. If anybody from chat has any questions, we'll have like one or two questions, and then we're gonna get up out of here.
Yeah, it's been super fun, and I am so glad to be able to have this conversation with you. And I like that, because sometimes, when you're playing games and you have to focus on the game and stuff like that, you don't get to have those conversations that you normally would like to have, because you're just like so focused, and then like chat's moving at a mile a minute, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh man. So like being able to be able to speak in this capacity is really nice.
Yeah, having those moments to slow down are fantastic. Oh, we do have some questions here. Mina Soul asks, Ash, what would you tell other small people of color streamers on Twitch trying to come up on the platform?
Well, the first advice that I give to anyone that wants to have some sort of success on this platform is never think of yourself as a small content creator. Do not get that word right out of your mouth. Do not call yourself small streamer. Do not use a hashtag. Do not do it. Do not. And the reason why is I'm looking at my list of followed channels right now, right? There's somebody that's sitting at 190. There's somebody that's sitting at 277. There's somebody sitting at 1.2K. There's somebody sitting at 8.4K. Numbers are relative. So compared to somebody else will always be smaller. So get that mindset right out, because you're setting yourself up for failure when you call yourself, oh, I'm a small this, I'm a small that. No, you are just starting. You are new. You are new on your path to success. So keep that mindset of, I can do anything that I want to do. It's possible as long as I put through the work and the effort and the time and the energy, and just be genuine, and be consistent. Consistency is so important. People don't know when to tune into your channel. Like, imagine if Game of Thrones came on at 8 o'clock one day, 4 o'clock the other day, 2 o'clock the other day. No one would ever know when to turn on the channel and watch a show. So you got to be consistent. But yes, always set yourself up with a mindset of assuming the positive, because that's how you're going to lead yourself up to win.
You're tuned in to Hustlenomics with AshSaidHi. Our next question here is from Shane Is Games. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I always love asking retro folks the adult money question. Are there any games you always wanted as a kid you've been able to track down as an adult finally?
Oh man, that's a great question. Yes, there are definitely games that I have that I was never able to have as a kid. And there were games that I had as a kid that I lost because, maybe your cousin took it, or
What's that one cousin?
Yeah, right? Or you moved and it got lost or something like that. So, yes, there are definitely some games that I have like that. Like, Robo Trek is one of them. Robo Trek for the Super Nintendo. I had that game as a kid, and then it got lost or stolen or whatever, and then was able to get it again, which was really, really nice. And I'm trying to look and think. Oh yeah, definitely some GameCube games too. Like
Mm.
I spent all my own money on my entire GameCube collection. So, you know, those games I definitely hold near and dear, especially like Pikmin 1 and 2, you know, like I really love those games. So, yes, definitely like any Super Nintendo RPG that I lost but then was able to buy back is on that list.
Adult gaming is where it's at, man.
Yep.
Because when you were a kid, you only had that one game, and that was it. That's all you had, sitting in the
Yep.
back of the car.
Yes.
But everyone, thank you for coming through. And Ash, I really appreciate you coming through and chatting with me tonight. Let's get a shout out for Ash in chat so people can follow her channel. She is an amazing streamer, wonderful energy, wonderful community. Where can people also find you? Where else
Um,
on the internet?
you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at AshSaidHi. I did just join Clubhouse too. I know that app that everybody wants to be on. And I think I have a TikTok, but I don't really use it. But who
TikTok,
knows?
yeah.
Maybe one day I will. But I'm usually on Twitter the most.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you, and you have a wonderful night, and we'll see you on your next stream.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Sky, Mina, everybody. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, stay put. We're going to transition over.